Hi, this is Shupriyo. So the IBPS RRB 2021 strategy. Now we are going to cover both the clerical exam strategy and also the PO exam strategy. So this is the OA or the office assistant strategy, and also the scale 1 strategy, and the scale 2 and scale 3 also we are going to check. So before you understand about the strategy and everything, just remember that the RRB job, it is actually quite decent, and I have seen many people who are in established public sector banks, they are leaving to join the RRB job because first of all it is going to be in their own state, so that is a huge advantage, and the work pressure is comparatively much lesser in the RRBs. But the salary, if you see the salaries, so mostly they are comparable with any other public sector bank. Most of the RRB salaries are comparable, so it is definitely a good job. So don't worry about your career growth or anything. If you can attempt this examination, go attempt it, and the job is actually very nice. So coming to the strategy, now the first thing that we have to check is the previous year cutoffs, and I have not actually shown you over here because you can Google it and you can find out all the cutoffs. So what's most important to remember is that for the PO examination, which is the scale 1 examination, the cutoff, it actually ranges around 50 to 60. All right, so this is out of 80, remember. So the prelims exam, it is out of a total marks of 80 marks, so you have cutoffs about 50 to 60 for most of the states. So that is the range that you can expect. And for the RRB clerical examination or the RRB office assistant examination, so this is actually quite interesting. Most of the states, they have 70 plus, so the cutoff is in the 70 to 80 range in the office assistant examination. Now this is a matter of concern for many people because especially in some states like Odisha, you see that almost, I think, 79 point something the cutoff was. So looking at these things, people get very scared and they do not understand how they are going to compete, and I get that it is not actually easy to compete when you have cutoffs that are going so very high. But remember something, whatever mock tests or whatever you are giving, you will usually see that the final examination, when you actually sit for the prelims examination, it is going to be much easier. So I have seen that many people, they will be attempting mock tests and then they are not getting in the 70 to 80 range, and then they are going to be very worried that how are we going to clear the examination. But don't worry, the mock test is usually harder than the actual exam when we come to the RRB office assistant examination. So you will be able to solve most of the questions, and the only thing you have to do is you have to cover each and every single thing. So don't leave any topic. So that is something that you have to remember. And so talking about coverage of all of the things, so these are the two important subjects, right? You have reasoning and you have quant, and we are going to look at the entire structure of the paper and everything. But these two subjects are the most important for your RRB examination. Like I already told you in the notification video, if you are not good in English, so this is the examination for you. In fact, the RRB OA, okay, so if you are not good in English, this is the most important examination for you because you do not even have the interview. So you can just be very good in reasoning and in quant, and you can actually crack the examination, because even the English that is there in the mains paper, you can replace it with your regional language, so you can replace it with your Hindi paper, etc. So this is quite important, and you have to remember this very important thing. Do not neglect any topic of reasoning and or quant. So you have to, of course, make one of these things a very strong area. So if you are good in quant, then you focus a little bit more on the quant subject, and if you are good in reasoning, then focus a little bit more on reasoning. But ultimately you have to attempt all the questions, almost all the questions in the examination, and this becomes possible only if you have a good hold on each and every single topic. So mock tests are very important in this examination. Give as many mock tests as possible, because see, this examination, it has the composite time, right? So there is no sectional timing for each of the sections. So you have to try and make yourself conversant with the pattern, and you have to craft a strategy that which are the questions that I am going to keep at my first priority, second priority, third priority, like this. And okay, we are going to discuss everything about that. So first, let us just see about the general awareness section. So for the general awareness section, what are you actually going to do? Which are the months that you have to study? So for your RRB PO examination, you have to actually cover from about 1st March to to about 18th September. So this is the range of the months that you have to actually cover for your RRB PO examination. If you cannot cover March, it is still okay. You can start from April, but I would recommend that you do not neglect March. And anyway, you are preparing for the JA examination, the SBI JA, right? So you must have been preparing from the February month. So definitely that preparation is going to be very useful to you. And for the RRB OA or the office assistant examination, so for that you can study from 1st April and till September end, so till 30th September. So if you cover till that time, so I am pretty sure that most of the things are going to be covered, and definitely I'll also try and help you out regarding the general awareness section. Let's see what I can do. I'll definitely try to just select some questions so that you can be benefited. And this is all about your general awareness. Now you also might be thinking like because the cutoffs are going so high, so how can you cover each and every single question? Now many people they actually say that because the time is very limited, so what you have to do, you have to actually just run with the paper, and every question that comes to you, you have to solve it and then move to the next question. So you cannot skip any question. That is what some people say. But please remember something, that skipping questions is always very important, because you cannot stumble upon a puzzle and then say that okay, now I have to finish off this puzzle first before I can move to the next question. No, like that if you go, then you are not going to be able to solve the entire paper. And remember, you have to almost attempt the 100% of the paper, right? So how can you actually do that? Whenever you have this kind of a challenge and you have the composite time, what you can do, you can actually select what is the strategy that is best applicable in this method. So I always use the passing method, the pass method actually. So what I do, I actually have a first pass where I solve all the easy questions, and then the second pass I do, which I target all the medium questions, and then the third pass, there I target the hard questions. So like that if you do, then it becomes much easier. And some people, they will say that you can allocate like 20 minutes for your reasoning and 20 minutes for your quant, and the rest 5 minutes whatever you have, you can actually allocate to whatever section is actually missing at that time, whatever questions you have missed. But if you do it like this, it might work for some people. If it is working for you, then go ahead, you don't have to worry at all about it. And this is why it's very important to do the mock test, right? So whenever you are doing mock tests and you are using this strategy, then you can find out whether it is working for you or it is not working for you. So I found out that this strategy was not very useful to me. So what I used to do, I used to first do the easy questions of both the quant and the reasoning, and then the medium ones, and then the hard ones. So I actually used to switch from the quant paper to the reasoning paper, and like that I used to do, because some of the questions are so very easy that you can easily just see that question and in a few seconds you can do that. So you do not want to miss those questions at the beginning portion of your paper, because if you do all those questions, then later on it becomes very easier. So you will find that you have 45 minutes and you have about 80 questions, right? So people sometimes feel that we have to do like 2 questions in 1 minute, like that our rate has to be. But you have to understand that there are puzzles also involved over here, there are data interpretation questions also involved over here. So it is not always that you are going to do 2 questions only in 1 minute. Sometimes in 1 minute you might even be able to solve 4 questions. So this is why it is very important that all the easy questions first you target of each of the sections. So for example, for the reasoning, what is the easy question? So you have like the inequalities, those are very easy. Then you have the blood relations, then you have the direction sense, then you have the coding decoding. So these are the very easy questions. You also have the syllogisms. So like that, these are the questions that you have to actually target for your reasoning section at the early part of the paper. So in the early stages of the paper, finish off all these easy questions, and then at the later part of the paper, you can do your puzzles, you can do your seating arrangements, you can do your machine input output and all the complicated questions. So those questions you have to keep till the end of the paper. And for your quant, what you have to do, for your quant, it is very easy. You have to do mostly the quadratic equations, the number series, and you also have to do the simplification and also the approximation. So these are the types of questions that you are going to finish off. And then also the data sufficiency and the quantity questions like quantity 1, quantity 2, those types of questions you can also do. And only after these types of questions are over, only then you can go for the DIs, and then you can go finally for the arithmetic questions. So arithmetic questions you can keep at the end of the paper. Don't try to do it at the beginning of the paper because it is going to mess up your paper. So easy questions you have to finish off first, and then at the end the DIs and the arithmetic. So I actually used to shift between one paper and the other paper. You can do whatever works best for you. If you find that in the first 20 minutes you can do the easy quant, then you can do the medium quant, then the hard quant, then you can go for it. It is up to you. But for me, this was the best process. So either of the two processes you can actually find out, you can see whatever works best for you, and that is why you have to do many mock tests. As many mock tests as you can do, you can understand what works best for you, and then you can strategize and you can plan. So this is how you are going to cover it. And now juggling the RRB preparation with the SBI JA preparation. So for this you can do a simple allocation for the pre versus main. So what I would suggest is till the next week, what you do, you focus on the mains, right? Focus on the mains papers. So you can do the SBI JA mains and also the RRB mains papers, the mock test you can do, and till about 20th you can do this kind of a strategy. So this is the 20th June. Till 20th June you are going to focus on your mains preparation, and then what you are going to do, then you are going to switch over totally to the prelims preparation. And now prelims for your JA and prelims for your RRB are going to be a little bit different, because see, JA has a little bit different pattern and RRB also has a different pattern. So you have to tackle one day only one type of question pattern. So don't give like mixed mocks, and don't take one day to solve different types of mocks, because that will totally mess up your actual preparation strategy. So don't do that kind of thing. Only allocate one day towards one type of mock, solve that mock, and then just see the questions, see the answers, and then the next day you can switch over. So like that you can do. And I think by the first week of July you are going to have your SBI JA examination, maybe first or second week, and after that 1 week after the prelims of the JA is over, you can focus again on the mains of your RRB, and then after that 1 week of mains preparation is done, then you can totally move towards your prelims preparation. So prelims preparation you are going to do, then August you have your prelims, and finally once your prelims is done, you can then switch over totally to your RRB mains preparation. So September and October you are going to have that, the mains preparation, and all this while remember you have to study the general awareness, you also have to study the banking awareness. So all those types of things you have to keep going. You cannot just leave the preparation for those things, but otherwise you can actually do the simple allocation that I just told you, and it is going to help you a lot. I have not actually spelled out the different weeks because I don't think that you want to complicate things too much, because now it is already too late and so many exams are lined up, more notifications are going to come, so you have to move fast. And now coming to the preliminary examination, so the office assistant and the scale 1, most of the things are similar except that numerical ability is mentioned over here, and here you have the quantitative aptitude. So the quant over here is a little bit harder, this is much easier, and reasoning level mostly it is same, but there can be some hard puzzles in the PO examination, the officer scale 1 examination. Remember, we are going to have the sectional cutoff and also the aggregate cutoff, but these things are mostly irrelevant because you have to almost get 80 out of 80, right? So almost 80 questions that you have, 100% you have to get almost correct. So of course the sectional cutoff and the aggregate cutoff you don't have to worry about. You have to actually just see that you are able to solve almost all of the questions. And of course negative marking are there, and the test versions will be there. So these two tests you can get in your regional language if you want. And like I mentioned to you, I already told you how you are going to attack this paper, how you are going to structure your time. So pick one of the two methods that I told you. So again you have 40-40 over here, 80 marks and a total of 45 minutes composite time. So as I told you, give the mock test, and then whatever or whichever one of the two methods that I told you, whichever works best for you, choose that and just go forward with your preparation. The more number of mock tests you will give, the easier it will become, trust me. And please do not neglect any topic. Each and every single topic is very important for your RRB examination. The quant and the reasoning, you cannot leave anything, because you don't have to focus on your English over here. So quant and reasoning, it should be super sharp for you. So remember that, and I am sure that you can get over the finish line in these examinations. Now coming over to the mains examination for your office assistant. So let me tell you how you can strategize over here. So as you see over here, if you see the entire paper, something interesting pops out again. So reasoning and quant. So total of 100 marks are there. So 50% of your paper is comprised of reasoning and quant. So remember, reasoning and quant are the most important things. You have a composite time of 2 hours, right? So here the thing that you have to remember is that you have computer knowledge, so 20 marks very easily you can secure. Then you have the GA, 40 marks. This is also comparatively much easier, and also the English or the Hindi, the 40 marks are there. So what I would suggest is that in the first 30 minutes, okay, the first 30 minutes that you have to finish off what? You have to finish off the computer knowledge section. So finish off this section, then also the GA section. So you always start the paper with the computer knowledge and the GA. I always used to do that. Why did I do that? Because if I can find out some easy questions over there and then I get some marks in the bank, then the pressure is lifted, right? You already know that you have solved 80 questions. You have solved 60 marks of the paper. Already you have solved. Like in the beginning, 5 to 10 minutes, even 15 minutes, you can finish it off. So these two sections, I think if you are targeting properly, then in 15 minutes, you can finish off your computer knowledge and your general awareness. I think more than 15 minutes are not required because the questions are very, very straightforward. So just improve your reading speed and you can do it in 15 minutes. And then the next 15 minutes, what you have to do, you have to target the English language or the Hindi language, whatever is there. So target these two papers, the 15 minutes. What you have to do, the easy questions you have to find out from your English paper and just finish off the easy questions. So for your English, it will be the fill in the blanks, the close test, the easy sentence correction, and small questions like the synonym, antonym if you have. So these are the types of questions that you can do. And in this 15 minutes, you have actually finished all the easy questions, maybe a few medium questions of English. Now, what is there? So 30 minutes are gone and you have 1 hour and 30 minutes remaining. So in the next 30 minutes, what you have to do? You have to find out the easy questions of reasoning and the easy questions of quant. So this is the time where you find out all the easy questions. So I've already told you the easy questions, the different types of like the syllogisms, the direction sense, the coding decoding, the blood relations, and then for your numerical ability, you have the quadratic equations, the numerical series, then you have the data sufficiency, etc., etc. So these kinds of things you can do. And in fact, some people, what they do in the quant, they might even go for the easier DI. Remember, there is going to be at least one super easy DI and another DI which is doable. So these two DIs, if you can find out, that also helps quite a lot because a lot of marks you can gather from this kind of thing. And then the remaining 1 hour will be there for you. So there you have to actually attack the difficult parts of the paper, the difficult reasoning, the difficult English, and the difficult quant. So you can actually strategize, you can do all your mock tests, and you can find out what works the best for you. And if you do it by this kind of a methodology, I feel that it is most scientific and it helps most of the people. Of course, you can have a different set of strategies and it is completely fine. But I have seen that for most of the candidates, this strategy works very well. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I'll clarify. And of course, there's no interview for the RRB mains examination, the RRB officer assistant examination. So that is also a plus point. You do not have to sit for any interview. The RRB mains examination for the officer scale 1. So again, the same thing applies over here, 50-50 as you can see, and also all the things are the same. So whatever strategy I told you for your clerical examination, for your officer assistant examination, same thing applies for your PO or for your officer scale 1 examination. Nothing changes over here. The only thing is that the mains weightage is 80%. So the numbers, they are going to be reduced and they are going to make it in a scale of 100 where 80 marks will be worth from your mains examination. So that's what they are going to do. Interview is 20% and 3 times of the vacancies are going to make it to the interview. So that is the only thing that you have to remember. Same strategy, whatever I told you in your clerical examination, same thing you can apply for your PO examination. The question difficulty will be a little bit harder, but still you can follow the timelines that I have told you and you can do your mock tests and it will definitely be very useful to you and you can solve the paper very, very easily. So coming over to the next thing, the officer scale 2, the general banking officer. So now for this kind of a paper, this is only a single level examination. So you do not have any prelims examination for it, just the simple single level examination. So what you have the composite timing of 2 hours again, and here also if you see carefully, again 50 marks of reasoning and 50 marks of quant. So 100 marks of the paper, 50% of the paper is again reasoning and quant. So the same thing applies over here as well. The only difference is that computer knowledge is 20 and financial awareness is 40 marks. So for the financial awareness, I have an entire playlist of the banking awareness which I had created. You can refer to it. It is comprehensive and you can solve almost all of the questions if you refer to that playlist. And I have a lot of questions as well. I will be adding some more questions to that playlist that will be helping you quite a lot. So definitely that is going to be useful to you. And English again 40, so either English or Hindi. So for first 30 minutes of the paper, you have to allocate towards your computer, your financial awareness and your English or Hindi. So 30 minutes you are going to do it like I had already told you, and then the next 30 minutes the reasoning and the quant and the DI easy questions will be there. So a lot of DIs will be there in this paper, so just focus on that DI. And finally the last 1 hour whatever you will have, you have to actually allocate towards the harder questions, and this is how you are going to strategize. Again, mains weightage is 80%, interview 20%, and 3 times of the vacancies are going to make it to the interview. So this is how you are going to strategize for your scale 2 and for your scale 2 specialist. Now this is a little bit different because here reasoning is 40 marks and your quant is 40 marks. So 80 marks of the paper are worth of reasoning and quant. So the allocation is a little bit lesser, but most of the things are remaining the same. See, professional knowledge 40 marks, financial awareness again 40, English or Hindi is again total 20 marks, and also the computer knowledge, it is 20 marks. So you have 120 marks over here that are going to be allocated like this. So what you can do, you can actually allocate 45 minutes for these 120 marks, finish off these 120 marks, and then the rest part of the paper you can allocate towards your reasoning and your quant. So like that if you do, then your scale 2 specialist, you can actually strategize like that. And of course you can give your mock tests and you can find out if you have any kind of a better strategy that can be useful for you. Again, 80% weightage for your mains, and interview has 20%. 3 times of the vacancies are going to make it to the interview. So like that you can actually go forward with the same kind of a strategy. And then for the officer scale 3 again, so here again we are going back to the same kind of a pattern. Reasoning 50 and quant is 50. So again 50% of the paper is comprised of reasoning and quant. So you see, reasoning and quant are so very important in all of these examinations. A very high percentage of the paper is comprised of only these 2 sections, and then the rest of the things, 20 for computer, financial awareness 40, and English or Hindi is again 40. So composite time of 2 hours. And this, if you see the strategy, the attempting strategy, it is going to be the same as your RRB clerk examination and your RRB PO examinations. And you can do your mock test and you can find out if this strategy actually works for you. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'll definitely help you out. So the mains interview, again the 80:20 ratio is going to be there, and 3 times of the vacancies are going to make it to the interview. So coming on to the next part, so your interview, the RRB interview for the officers only, this is going to be there. And now remember, I have actually made an SBI interview series, so a video on SBI interview, you can go and check it out. I think that video is going to be very useful for you. You can just go and see, and that video is going to give you a lot of pointers on how you can excel in the interview. And here 100 marks are going to be there, 20% weightage. So this means that every 5 mark that you are going to get in this interview, it is going to equate to 1 mark in the final tally. And you have to focus on the RRB history. So all the developmental challenges, the financial inclusion, the things that RBI is doing, then RRBs, why they are here, and what are the failures of the RRBs, what are the successes of the RRBs, what's the first RRB, and what is the future of RRB going to be like. All of those kinds of things you are going to be asked, and the knowledge of the banking terms. So again, my banking awareness series is going to help you in this. And of course the nodal RRB, the NABARD and the IBPS, they are going to come together, they are going to take your interview. And you have 1 year reserve list. So this means that if you are in the reserved or the waiting list, then for 1 year you are going to be placed there. And also remember, this is very important, in the RRB interview you might be able to fail. Okay, so I have seen in the last year many candidates, they failed in the interview. So you have to actually get a minimum of 40 marks to pass in the RRB interview, and for your SC/ST it is actually 35 marks. So these are the minimum number of marks that you have to get, otherwise you are not going to be selected for the final list. Remember this. So each of the sections, not only have you got to pass the sectional cutoff and the aggregate cutoff in the mains, but also the interview cutoff that many people forget. you have to actually also pass. And also the local language test will be there, so you have to be proficient in the local language. So that's all about our RRB strategy, and many people were asking me about the scope, the career opportunities of the RRB. So I have an entire video where I have discussed everything about whether you can consider an RRB job as your future step for your career. So you can go and check that video. I am telling you that this job, it is actually a very good job. It is a chilled out job and you don't have to worry a lot. So definitely give your best shot, and I am sure that you will be successful. You just have to keep faith and you have to believe that you have what it takes. I hope that you learned something from this video and that it was beneficial to you. If you enjoyed it, please click on the like button and share it with your friends. And if you want to see more of this kind of content, please click on the subscribe button and do not forget to click the bell icon so that you, my friend, do not miss any future update. I'll see you in the next video.